would you want an imaginary friend? I think it just sounds dumb. He's not really there. You're just talking to the air. How can nobody be any fun?
Believe the picture and see the truth. 2 plus 4 equals 6.
We're breaking the conditioning!
And welcome once again, true believers, as we continue our journey down the Sphinx-riddled path to dark enlightenment. My story begins 4 weeks ago at a nocturnal gathering I was hosting for other like-minded individuals. They, like I, were interested in researching the dark occultic matters that were happening in our neighborhood. Everything had been going according to plan, and as I was regaling them with my 19th story about skinwalkers behind the local junior high, my asshole brother Clarence burst into the room. Whether or not he was possessed by a demon, I cannot truly say. All I can tell you is what he said was totally untrue. He told the group gathered that I wet the bed. I tried to tell the group that this was a misunderstanding, that Clarence was misinformed, that it really was a Chinese water demon, a Shui Che, that had been haunting me ever since I performed an exorcism 3 months prior. They did not believe me. Clearly, dark magic was at work. I tried in vain to protest against it, but they all began to leave, and when I tried to speak up for the final time, Clarence simply punched me and said I was into unnatural fag shit, and that I was the reason Mom and Dad had got divorced. The situation only worsened as word spread throughout the town, and I was given a new moniker, Puddle Pants. For those of you versed in the dark arts, you understand that words hold power. And this particular nickname was powerful. Powerful enough to make sure I had no friends. And so I had to find an alternative. It took a while, but by page 200 I had found what I was looking for. Tulpas. Intrigued by the concept, my first stop along the way was a subreddit, r Tulpas. And luckily enough, Astral Hedge had outlined just what a tulpa is capable of. Superpowers. Do any of your tulpas have superpowers? In addition to having a few different forms, my tulpas can move objects with her mind and speak any language. In one of her forms, she can change her size, and in another, she has wings to fly. I feel like I learn new powers of hers every day. Looking beyond what Astral Hedge had to say, many others came forward with evidence of just what their tulpas could do. My tulpa Sarah can control the wind. My tulpa can change his form. My tulpa flies, breathes fire, and is really strong. My tulpa has a sort of crystal which allows Mekiel to manipulate his own energy to take on certain shapes. So far, he can possess a pair of near-transparent wings and an energy sword. All of my tulpas have superpowers. Zelta has green fire powers. Theo has electricity and sound wave powers. Legata has water-bending powers and can make water wings with lapis lazuli from Steven Universe. Rayun has a ton of powers due to being a Nakorian. Here are a few of them. She can earthbend and spawn crystals out of the ground. Shapeshift to some degree. Super strength, purple fire. Eli has magical abilities like a witch. After reading through the rest of the thread, I realized the terrible mistake I had made. R Tulpas was not a subreddit dedicated to Tulpa and Tulpamancy. It was a subreddit dedicated to the children's show Pokemon, and the animal slave fights it inspires. Feeling disillusioned with Reddit's inability to separate Pokemon from Tulpamancy, I sought out experts of a higher level, those on the paranormal board. Tragically, all they were interested in discussing that day was giant invisible alien pussy. Yet another devastating setback. I almost gave in to the darkness, yet there on my desktop as a shining beacon appeared hope in the form of a message from the elusive ex-moderator. Our conversation, while meandering through many dark subjects, was very short. He linked me to something that was forbidden, something that had been hidden by 4chan many years ago and purged from the archives. A thread on MLP. Creating Pinkie Pie Tulpa. Do it before going to bed every night. Ignore warnings about doing exactly that because it can take ideas from your dreams. 60 hours in, I've started hearing and seeing her. Her face is deformed as fucking frightening and I can't change it. She just keeps yelling for no fucking reason, mostly when something else is talking to me. Can't hear shit when she does. My face when. Finally, it seemed as if I was making progress. Here was somebody who had summoned a Tulpa, had created a living thought form. If I could just find out how they had done it. I can't hear shit. Jesus fucking Christ, what do I do? Every time I try to form a fucking thought, she's screaming no matter what I say. Her voice is all broken and nonsensical like a newborn baby's. Doesn't it take weeks of ignoring to stop this? Fuck, why did I even try this? You know when you smudge a picture of someone's face? It's like the features are there, but they're out of focus. And she has no fucking color in her eyes. I don't understand. I spent 30 hours on visualization. Like this picture. I know she can't hurt me in the slightest. This is fucking terrible. I shouldn't have messed around with this. I fucking knew this fear I had would happen as well. I thought about it every time I focused. I don't think I can sleep. Every time there is a silent moment, she uses it to make the fucking loudest noise possible. I've tried doing the above and threatening that I'll ignore her. No change. Why won't she fucking listen? Why won't she take notice of me at all? I think you're fucking right. It's like she's deaf and won't listen at all. I had lots of dreams where I was unable to talk, like there was something stuck in my throat, and then I'd eventually be able to scream my fucking head off. This is exactly what it feels like. I'm doing that now with the MLP movie, wouldn't you fucking know it? Maybe if I watch Pinkie Pie from the show, it'll influence my Tulpa. It's not just the screaming and face either. It's the touch. Cold breezes on my neck, even when I put my hand around it. Covering my neck, it feels exactly the same. Prodding, feeling on my right arm. There's a wall to my left I lean on. The feeling of someone pulling my arm, neck, and chin hairs out. Nail pinching. The only sense I didn't work on was smell, so there isn't any. It was very clear from reading that there are dangers inherent in summoning a Tulpa. OP of the thread clearly ignored the warnings and pushed forward into unknown territory. I would have to be more careful. But where to find the information necessary to summon my own hell-spawned pony? It was then that I discovered it, hidden away in a corner of the internet where dark occult things are kept. Tulpa.info. The amount of information on the website is overwhelming to say the least. So much occultic wisdom in one place, I was unable to process it. I decided the best course of action was to go to the forums, to talk to the Tulpamancers themselves. And what I discovered was shocking. It isn't just users that create Tulpas that post on Tulpa.info. It's the Tulpas themselves. What do you call your host? Hi guys, this is Sen. Today my host and I had a disagreement. I think Master is prettier than Host, and she really didn't like being called Master at all. Actually, Host sounds ugly to me, but Celine's pretty too. So I don't mind too much. But that got me thinking, what do you guys call your hosts? P.S. If you can't read this, just let me know, I can fix it. Tulpa001. Dear, honey, princess, love, lover, hosty, master, my slave, my sweet, wife, idiot, mistress, mother, sister, my everything, silly, my pet, stuff I forgot. I only call her hosty behind her back. Too bad you didn't ask about my pet names. That list is slightly more interesting. P. This was beyond my wildest expectations. Now I could learn from the Tulpas themselves on how to summon my own, and the wealth of information available was mind-blowing. Committing suicide while having a Tulpa. Hi, bit of a bizarre question here, but how would your Tulpa feel if you committed suicide? Would you see it as murdering them? Would they understand that their host just couldn't take it anymore? Would they themselves not be able to take it anymore? And yes, I suspect the answers will vary from Tulpa to Tulpa. Just a thought. But the main thought that keeps me from trying out Tulpamancy. Thanks. Parents with Tulpa. Tulpa parenting. So I was wondering if anyone had tried parenting with a Tulpa. I've always liked the idea of adoption and was curious about how others would have handled it. I suspect it would be just not telling the child and using the tulpa solely to support yourself. Or would you be honest and let the child know why sometimes you talk to yourself when you're alone? Would even having a child whilst having a tulpa be a terrible idea? I'd like to think they'd love the child as their own, but I suppose it varies from tulpa to tulpa. They may even get jealous. Thanks. And another response from Tulpa001. I know of only 2 parents with tulpas. One is still a secret but young still. The other is open. Neither visit this forum though. It is not a terrible idea. Why would it be? After having browsed the forum for hours upon hours, soaking up every nugget of truth that I could, I came to the conclusion that my best course of action would be contacting the forum mod Tulpa001. While never having talked to a thought form before, I carefully worded my request. I would like to summon a tulpa. I am very lonely. Please help me. Within a few hours I received a response. Detailed instructions on how to proceed, how to will my own tulpa into reality. The instructions covered everything. All the materials, all the preparation, what to look out for and what to be aware of. The only caveat to the entire thing was that I was never allowed to share the list with anyone, which is why I can't show it to you now. And so I spent an entire week dedicated to summoning my tulpa, Halohomina. It took a great deal of concentration, but I succeeded, and I can tell you my life is for the better. Sure, there are naysayers, those who look down upon me, Western doctors that can't appreciate Eastern mysticism, and how they try to dissuade me. Time and time again they tell me, if you stop taking the antipsychotics, the voices will never go away. But they don't understand Halohomina and the wisdom he gives me. I'm paying those doctors a visit tonight. Halohomina has instructed me to do so, and I take his word as gold. I've made the preparations necessary. He had told me to bring a gun, but I don't own one. Luckily, my mother last year had bought me a katana, so I'm prepared. It's nice to have friends you can trust.